Dr. Buttar?
Yeah.
I know you guys are busy working out for this weekend, but do you want to go ahead and record your video message for the National Autism Association?
Yeah. I'm going to get some water. Hi guys, Dr. Buttar here. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to be there. I was asked last minute to come to the National Autism Association, but my son and I are competing in Chicago this weekend, so I can't be there. It's actually been 4 or 5 years since I've actually addressed the National Autism Association at the conference, but there's been some great things that have been happening recently, and I was asked to record this message. Unfortunately, it's only 24 or 48 hours before this DVD will be played. But some of the things that have happened recently that some of you may be aware of, the case of Desiree Jennings, the 25-year-old Washington Redskins cheerleader. Essentially, she had a mercury toxicity assault from the vaccine, so she was vaccine injured. But not only was it mercury toxicity, but she also had a post-immunization viral encephalopathy. She was diagnosed with everything from dystonia to psychogenic disorder to autoimmune conditions, all sorts of different things, and finally it came down to post-vaccine injury. And when she got to us, she was in significant respiratory distress with bronchospasms. She was having a difficult time breathing. We started all her treatments, and initially first concentrating on improving perfusion, helping her to be able to breathe better, and then going on to treating her for acute toxicity. And within a week and a half, we were able to start the recovery protocol too. And although she's not completely out of the woodwork, she is well on her way to being fully recovered. She's essentially seizure-free now. She's able to walk normally. What's really exciting is that some of the changes that we've been able to observe with Desiree now help us to understand what the children are experiencing when they're going through treatment, and that's tremendously exciting simply because now we know not only what they're experiencing, but also what we can do to make the experience more tolerable and more pleasant. And generally speaking, when we're dealing with children with autism, we're dealing with a brain that was injured during developmental phase. In Desiree's case, that's not the case, and she was able to actually give us feedback throughout the treatment, and it was tremendous as far as being able to understand what the patient's experiencing and also be able to fine-tune it and to make it apply in a way that's more tolerable to the patient. So that's another component that's been a blessing while taking care of Desiree. There was an interesting theory that had been proposed to me that the use of hyperbaric therapy without oxygen would actually reduce inflammation by Stan Kurtz. He introduced this concept to me, and we started using this and actually seemed to have, from the empirical evidence at least, a lot of benefit. And so we started doing hyperbarics on her as well without any oxygen while we were treating for heavy metals. And then we started her on our recovery protocol, which consists of a number of different types of brain nutrients to help recover the receptor sites in the brain. In the case of hyperbarics, I don't use hyperbarics in children when they come to us because they've got a lot of heavy metals. And remember, heavy metals cause oxidative damage, so oxygen is the key component over here, that anything that will increase oxygen will actually increase the oxidative process. So you don't want to have a child that has heavy metal toxicity exposed to oxygen, and especially higher levels of oxygen than would be found normally in ambient air. So to put a child in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber and increase the oxygenation to 100% is absolutely the wrong thing to do. It's like pouring fuel on a fire. You don't want to do that. But use of hyperbarics without oxygen is in the first year and a half of treatment, I think is going to be a tremendous amount of benefit, and we're going to be releasing the results of the study that we're going to initiate in a small patient population and share that with you. But go to factsontoxicity.com, and there you'll learn a lot of information. There's 9 videos. There's no charge for it. Just watch the videos, and it'll help to bring many of the principles that I just discussed right home to you. There seems to be empirical evidence that hyperbaric oxygen chambers without the oxygen, in other words, just the pressure, will actually help a child to reduce inflammatory response in their brain, and that way we don't have to worry about the problem with oxidation, and we can still give them hyperbarics. So, and of course we use hyperbarics for a completely different reason because of the IVs that we're doing. We're helping to saturate the system. So there's a whole gamut over here that we've been able to observe, and some of the great changes that we've been able to now document, and the results that we were already getting with the autistic population. We've been able to see that same we've been able to reproduce those same results in adults with stroke and with dementia, and now even with an acute vaccine injury. So basic fundamental primer, I'm going to reiterate what I have been saying for a number of years regarding autism. Autism is nothing more than mercury toxicity on board a physiology that is a genetic predisposition for the inability to excrete, or mercury toxicity on board a physiology that can't get rid of the metals. Essentially, that's all it is. Now, mercury can be the spark that caused the fire, and sometimes you can actually even take out the spark that caused the fire, but the damage from that spark, even though the fire's not been put out, sometimes it takes a long time to get that damage recovered. And so there's two components of what we do. We first remove the offending substance, which in this case is the heavy metals and the persistent organic pollutants. But of all those chemicals and all those metals, mercury is the worst one because it's the only one that causes denudation of the neurofibrils. So we take care of the mercury, we get rid of that and the rest of the heavy metals, and then we have to go on to the next phase of our treatment, which is the recovery protocol. So we have the detoxification protocol and the recovery protocol. As far as doctors that are listening to this, we're going to be doing a workshop on how to treat patients that have had a vaccine injury, and that way we can help to let everybody know, all the doctors that are interested in treating this type of condition know what to do and what we did in order to help Desiree recover. And there are many patients out there. It's not just Desiree. There's probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people that have been injured by vaccines. Obviously, we know that children with autism have also had injury from the vaccines, but for even the adults that have had problems, this course, this short workshop that we're going to do is going to help educate the doctors and bring them up to speed as to what we found, what we discovered, and give them a protocol that has been very effective so far. Hey, Abby, do you want to come up here and say something on video to the group that's going to be watching this?
Who are they?
They're the National Autism Association, and it's a group of people that have children that have been injured by mercury.
Is that what happened to me?
Yep.
Okay.
You look like a fish.
Thanks. It's
Go
the
ahead.
nicest compliment I've ever had.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna beat you.
Memories.
Memories. So what do you want to talk about?
I'm sorry my dad couldn't go there, and well, I couldn't do anything without him because he's my punching bag.
Yeah, I'm your punching
so
bag.
I couldn't train with him because I don't have a punching bag. So.
Okay, smart aleck. So, what, you want to go with me if I go next year? If they invite me to come, you want to go with me?
That'd be great. I could talk about, take a lecture about antioxidants.
You want to give a lecture about antioxidants? Okay, that's fine. I mean, I didn't know you want to give a lecture on antioxidants, but that's fine. So maybe you can, if they invite me, maybe they'll invite you. You can give the lecture on antioxidants, and I can talk about something else. Maybe I can talk about karate. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, guys, thanks a lot for taking the time to watch the video, and we'll hopefully talk to you next year.